of the world-famous Trump Plaza on the banks of the Atlantic Ocean here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We welcome you inside Boardwalk Hall. This building is electric as the UFC has come to the East Coast again for UFC 50. It is the Super Bowl of mixed martial arts.
Rules of the Octagon, as always, 3 judges score the bout. The bout duration, 3 5-minute rounds, or for our championship fight, 5 5-minute rounds. As always, a 10-point must system is in effect, with the round winner gaining 10 points, his opponent 9 or less, based on effective striking, grappling aggression, and Octagon control. Now to get the night officially started, here's the veteran voice of the Octagon, Mr. Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live from the Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Tonight, Zuffa presents UFC 50, the War of 04, where the finest mixed martial arts fighters in the world today will all compete in the world's ultimate proving ground, the Octagon. And now, for the thousands in attendance and the millions of UFC fans watching around the world, it's time to begin the Ultimate Fighting Championship!
Time for the light heavyweights, a late addition to the card. A black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu who has rolled at the Lion's Den. Travis Lutter and the former CFL running back looking to run right through this newcomer, Marvin the Beastman Eastman.
Travis Lutter is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu under Carlos Machado and is a world-class submission wrestler. Lutter is extremely dangerous with his submissions and holds a 6-1 mixed martial arts record. Tonight, he makes his UFC debut.
We're going to come out and feel each other out. You know, it'll kind of depend on if he comes hard, I'm going to shoot. If he comes out and feels me out, I'm going to try to wait until he tries to commit with some punches, and then I'm going to try to take the fight to the ground, win the fight there.
Marvin the Beastman Eastman is an excellent wrestler and a professional kickboxer. Extremely strong and explosive, Eastman is a threat wherever the fight takes place. Eastman is looking to prove that he belongs among the toughest light heavyweights in the world.
A win is a win, but I always want to win and take the judges out of, making a decision. That's the easiest way to take. The fans don't have no dispute. They don't have to worry about the scorecards. If you knock the guy out, there's nothing that anybody can say.
Coming up next, Travis Lutter takes on Marvin the Beastman Eastman.
Tail of the tape all night brought to you by Science. Extreme supplements for extreme athletes. Look for them at your favorite health food stores and gyms. Science, extreme supplements for extreme athletes. Marvin Eastman is 35. Newcomer Travis Lutter is 4 years younger. There is a reach advantage, but again, remember, Lutter is more jiu-jitsu and ground skill than the pro boxer and kickboxer, Marvin Eastman. Our referee for this light heavyweight matchup is Mario Yamasaki.
All right, gentlemen, look at me here. Go back to your corner. Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
All right, we're underway as they tap gloves. Oh, Marvin Eastman doesn't want the tap, Frank. He wants to get to business, remember? His UFC debut against Vitor Belfort suffered a nasty, nasty cut over his eye, kind of the middle of the forehead, and the fight was stopped. Marvin wants some redemption. Lutter wants to show very well today. Lutter looking for the shoot here early?
Definitely. Marvin's really not giving him anything right now. He's not committing too far forward. I mean, if Marvin shoots him with a flurry of punches, Lutter's looking to change levels and maybe get on his hips, but he's really not giving anything right now. He's kind of looking for the jab, and if Lutter were to shoot, you leave himself open for a strike from a knee being stuffed into the ground. So it's kind of a cat and mouse game right now.
Pretty obvious Travis Lutter doesn't want to exchange right now.
No, not at all. Looks like the way his posture is totally defensive. He's just looking for a shot.
course, the danger of Eastman jumping in.
Come on,
That he leaves
let's
himself
go, let's
vulnerable
go.
to that shot. So a little cat and mouse, as Frank mentioned early on.
Do some action,
Marvin
let's go.
Eastman in the white trunks, Travis Luter in the dark trunks. Just underway. One of 3 5-minute rounds. Combination, and Luter steps away. The bright lights, that first time. You had a first time in the octagon. How different is it than your previous mixed martial arts experiences?
Being underwater, I couldn't hear anything. To be honest with you. I just saw the guy in front of me. I couldn't have heard nothing. Nope.
And that is one way to look at it. You close everything out. You just say it's something I've done all my life, right, Frank?
Correct. You know, so you do it so many times, it just becomes routine. You know.
Great point.
Again, Marvin looking for a strike. I mean, I don't know why he maybe doesn't throw a little bit of a low kick, something here, and just I guess the fear of being taken down on his back. But
Crowd wants some engagement early, Frank.
definitely, no one wants to see two guys.
Was
dance
impatient.
around.
You know, the East Coast, they want action early. They're excited about the Red Sox. You know. There's a combination by Luter, just trying to keep Eastman off guard, though. No damage would have been done.
So this is where Luter should maybe go ahead and engage in a few strikes, throw a few hands, get Marvin not worried so much about being taken down, but maybe get Marvin to want to mix it up. And then when Marvin forgets about the takedown, that's when he wants to shoot in.
How about Marvin with the legs? When you kick and you lead with the leg, does that make you more vulnerable for the takedown than if you lead with the hands?
It really does. I mean, you're putting 1 foot up off the ground, you're not as stable as having 2 feet on the ground.
Thus the reason why he may not be engaging on the legs of his opponent, right?
The bottom line is you have to open up. I mean, you have to take chances sometimes in the fight. You just both can't sit there and play safe. I mean, you're not going to win by not doing anything.
Well, it's obvious that Eastman has great respect for Luter on the ground, though, because he's not giving him any chance to get there. And don't forget, Marvin Eastman has a great wrestling background, and he's extremely strong. So we need some engagement here in round 1.
1 and 2, Travis, 1 and 2. Let him step in. Let him go ahead and let him step in a little bit.
Eastman with the left jab. And he'll back up to the center of the ring.
Marvin, get off first.
Luter obviously doesn't want to engage in the shoot first because he doesn't want to eat a knee.
No, he doesn't want to take a bad shot. And, you know, Luter's kind of basically at this point, Marvin needs to, I feel Marvin, there we go. Nice inside low kick.
Eastman talked a lot this week about his continuing pro boxing and kickboxing experience, and he feels that that keeps his hands real sharp. Looking for the combination, Luter backs right up. Didn't really care who he fought, and the change was made from Patrick Côté, a striker who will fight against Tito Ortiz here tonight. There's a kick caught the inside of the knee. Luter went with it. There's the shoot. And a nice sprawl by Marvin Eastman, and the engagement was there, so they were waiting each other out.
And that was perfect. So I don't understand why the sprawl that well. Marvin doesn't go ahead and engage with his strikes a little bit more. I mean, even if Luter gets in on his hips, I see that Marvin can still get his hips out in a good sprawl.
Until you are actually engaged with someone, though, you don't really know, Frank, do you, how good their takedowns are?
No, I mean, that's
Maybe
true.
now he feels, I'm just trying to guess
No,
here, but right?
What both fighters are doing right now, they're trying to feel each other out. But, I mean, I think just on paper, Marvin has to have a little bit more confidence that he's going to escape the takedown. I mean, he's going to realize unless this guy totally catches my heels back, pushes me off the fence, whatnot, there we go. Nice.
Now, perhaps because he felt the simplicity of that last sprawl, he'll feel more confident now. Would that make sense?
And also, too, you know, a lot
You're
of
a cerebral fighter, so I'm going to be picking your brain all night, buddy. I'm going to be picking your brain all night.
Also, too, I can see maybe, you know, he's going to go to the corners. Corners going to be able to give him a little bit of assurance, saying, "Hey, look, you know, that was scoring. Go for it. That's what you need to do." Right. He might have a different idea what's going on in the fight than what we are seeing going on. You know, there's two perspectives going on. There's what the fighter's seeing and what your corner sees.
Eastman, if anyone has scored points here in the first round, it is Marvin Eastman, but action-packed it was not.
No.
And the crowd here at Atlantic City will react. And Eastman raising his hands in frustration, but he can't engage. Oh, Mr. Zito is in the house. Oh, they love it here in New Jersey, Atlantic City, Boardwalk Hall. Travis Luter's corner. So Travis Luter set for round 2 against Marvin Eastman.
Okay, let's go, out, let's go.
Luder, the black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, confident that he can submit his opponent Eastman, but he's got to get to the ground to do so. He attempted 1 shot in the first round.
Here you see it down what I'm talking about, the difference in fights.
Oh, there's a good kick.
I see. So look at the confidence. I think Marvin's going to keep building up confidence, and Luder's going to be losing confidence. Marvin came out exactly what I felt his corner was going to do and say, look, let it go. You're not going to win by sitting there throwing 1 jab, 1 right hand. You're the better striker. Throw. This guy is not going to take you down.
The difference in confidence you talked about, and a big shot by Travis Luder. 1-punch knockout. Can you believe it?
No.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
This goes to show in a fight, anything can happen. I don't think anybody in the world predicted that happening.
Travis Luder knocks out Marvin Eastman. Unbelievable.
Wow, I'm impressed. Looked like Marvin came in, dropped his left hand a little bit. He got caught with a straight right hand.
Wow. In the background, you heard the comment, I thought you were a jiu-jitsu guy. What are you doing knocking out a kickboxer? Wow.
Again, look. Oh, yeah, he threw a kick, dropped his hand.
Oh.
Great shot.
Bam!
Well, it wasn't so much a straight right hand, but right hand didn't say. Scored on the button.
Well, that's what the crowd wanted.
That's one point I'd like to bring up. A lot of guys go ahead and tell me, oh, UFC is so much safer now. Like, it's a little bit more scary. We wrap our hands. Guys, you don't make mistakes.
Let's go to Bruce Buffer for the decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Mario Yamasaki has called a stop to this contest at 33 seconds of the 2nd round, with a winner by knockout, Travis Luder.
I guess we shall consider it a stunning upset, especially in the fashion in which it occurred. Travis Luder knocks out Marvin Eastman.
I guess he wasn't kidding about it. He's been working on his boxing, huh?
Yeah, you're right about that. My goodness. Great job. Let's check in with Kerry Kasem.
Travis, you are a great jiu-jitsu guy. What are you doing knocking out a kickboxer?
My boxing coach was telling me, overhand right, he's open for it all day long. He told me to throw it, so we did.
What's it like fighting in the UFC for the first time?
Man, this is the place!
Nice job, good job. Okay, we're gonna take a look at your knockout. Tell us what's happening.
What's that?
Tell us what's happening. Tell us what's going on in your head.
On the big right, and it connected, so it was a good day.
How's it feel taking a look at that?
That was cool.
Congratulations, Travis.
I'd like to thank my sponsors, Conjo's, Sprawl, Lions Den, all my trainers. Thank you, guys.
Middleweights, he is back and determined to stay for a long time. Militic slugger, always aggressive. Tony Fricklin set to attempt a rocker, and Maurice Smith. Matt Hume trained Ivan Salaberry. Tony the Freak Fricklin has established a reputation as a crowd-pleasing fighter. Even though he has picked up many skills training with the Militich camp, Tony is first and foremost a take-no-prisoner slugger. Fricklin is a physical specimen and fears no challenge as he steps up to take this fight on less than 2 weeks' notice.
I do my best work coming forward, and I think I can impose my will against most people, and I don't think he's any different. Because when it comes to firepower, I think that's my biggest weapon. I'm going to bring it hard, and I think that's the key to my winning the fight.
Ivan Salaberry is one of the toughest types of fighters in MMA to face. If you want to strike, he is a great grappler. If you want to grapple, he is a great striker. He showed off some of those skills in his UFC debut, defeating tough Russian fighter Andrei Semenov by TKO in the 3rd round. Salivary has fought in Japan for the last couple of years and now eagerly makes his return to the UFC.
I want to take charge of my strikes. From there, obviously, get the takedown, get the control, and pound him. And if not, submit him. And that's the name of the game, and I'm going to do my game.
Coming up next, it's middleweight action as Tony the Freak Fricklin takes on Ivan Salivary. Tail of the tape for this middleweight matchup, brought to you by Science. Extreme supplements for extreme athletes. Look for them at your favorite health food stores and gyms. Science presents our tail of the tape. Both men are 33. This is one of the many U.S. versus Canada battles tonight on the card. Both are 6 foot, and Salivary comes in at 184 pounds. Middleweight matchup between Tony Fricklin and Ivan Salivary. Herb Dean, our referee.
You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Let's do it.
Salivary and Fricklin. And you know Tony Fricklin wants to explode with the hands and the feet early.
Nice shin check. Nice displayed inside the kick.
Salivary tries the high kick, goes for the shoot. A nice sprawl and a knee by Fricklin. Salivary
Nice
trying
judo
for the
throw.
judo throw. And Fricklin avoids again. Good exchange in action early.
Exciting fight.
Oh, yeah. Oh, a high kick again. Tony Fricklin grabs the leg of Ivan Salivary, but could not take him down.
Interesting choice. I wouldn't think that Fricklin would have went for a takedown.
Combination, and down goes Fricklin. Fricklin has recovered. He's showed him his back, though. Fricklin stunned by a combination by Salivary, but it seems as if he will escape.
Stunned, fell down, and immediately Ivan Salivary jumped on, sunk the hooks in.
He has his back, but can he submit from here? Tony Fricklin trying to regain his composure, taking some punishment. He's got the hooks in, doesn't he?
Definitely, hooks are in, dangerous position, cut. If he's able to sink this choke in,
Going for a
big
choke
trouble.
now. Yep, going for the choke. What can Tony do here to avoid?
He's doing the right thing. He's controlling the hands. You have to control the hands. The hands are what's going to get you choked out. If you reach for the foot, you're in trouble. Another thing that Ivan Salivary is doing, which is a menacing thing, you can see right now he has his waist figure forward. That sucks the life out of you. That's going to take a lot of wind and a lot of tank out of the guys.
So Tony Fricklin in trouble. 90 seconds in, and that's it. That's it. Tony Fricklin has tapped.
Figure four to the body.
Figure four to the body, and he hurts the back of Tony Fricklin, and Ivan Salivary victorious over Milicic product Tony Fricklin.
That just explains the amount of pressure that was put in on that figure four. It might have done some damage to Tony Fricklin's back. I hope he's all right.
Wow. Well, he got rocked, and as he went down from the rocking, then Ivan Salivary took his back, took advantage, and Ivan Salivary explodes and explodes quickly against Tony the Freak Fricklin. And his back is definitely hurt.
Robin.
You pointed it out, Frank, the figure four.
Right here. Just stick your elbow in there.
There we go. You see the figure four body lock in, which is actually even illegal in collegiate wrestling because of this reason. You break people's ribs, you pull out the back. Ivan sees it. He's just drilling forward with his hips to go ahead.
Wow. So Ivan Salivary in the pressure and the extension, along with the punches, but it was the figure four, as you pointed out, wasn't it? And
it's a lot of pressure.
Tony Fricklin is up, but he is in dire pain. It is the back that forced him to tap as we check in with Bruce Buffer.
Real bad earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 1 minute 36 seconds of the very first round. Due to a verbal tap out from a triangle body lock, the winner is Ivan Salivary.
Well, it just goes to demonstrate the variety of techniques that can be utilized to be successful in the UFC.
Try to go back to the punches. That's there we go. We see that the clinch are both working. This is what was the beginning of the end for Fricklin. He got caught with a right hand right across the shoulder. goes in, Ivan Salivary, like a snake, Heisler jumps right on the guy, sinks in the figure 4 body lock. Originally working for the choke. Tony defended that well. He just goes ahead and drives his hips down and basically almost breaks Tony Frickland's back. That's what we're seeing here, extreme pain.
Carrie Kasem is with our winner.
I am Ivan. You have been fighting in Japan, and
Yes,
you wanted to come back to an American crowd. How does it feel?
It feels great. It's so awesome to fight for the American crowd. Thank you.
Now, you had your figure 4 hooks in. Is that what did it to him? Is that what made him tap?
I'm sorry, say again?
It was like a figure 4. You had your hooks in at a figure 4.
Thank you, thank you, sorry.
You had a triangle on him.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, looked like a figure 4. But is that what made him tap? You took the breath out of him?
Yes, ma'am, it's a back crank, that's what it is. So with a triangle, I torqued it, and it cramped up his back.
Is this how you thought the fight would play out?
No, this is wonderful, I love it. With a submission, great.
Do you think you get him standing up?
I wanted to go a little bit more stand-up, but if it's on the ground, I'll take it.
I think it was awesome. It was awesome. Thank you very much.
Time for the middleweights. Dangerous in the clinch, bringing that lunch pail mentality. Evan Tanner set to go on against the bigger, stronger, ruthless Robbie Lawler. Ruthless Robbie Lawler has established a reputation as one of the most dangerous strikers in the welterweight division, with exciting UFC wins over Aaron Riley, Steve Berger, Tiki, and Chris Lytle. At only 22 years old, Lawler is still growing and now looks to make his middleweight debut. The addition of Lawler makes the UFC's rapidly growing middleweight class even hotter.
Well, he's taller than me. He's always going to come in good shape. He has good knees, and he trains with a great team.
Texas-born Evan Tanner has fought in 10 UFC events. Tanner dropped down from the light heavyweight division to the middleweight class and has rapidly established himself as one of the top fighters in the division with back-to-back wins over Phil Baroni. Tanner has his sights set on one day soon being crowned the UFC World Middleweight Champion.
When I visualize this fight, I see Robbie coming out strong, trying to take me out right off. He's known to do that. He's got some impressive, explosion and combinations. I think for me, just weather the storm and impose my game.
Coming up next, it's youth versus experience as ruthless Robbie Lawler moves up a weight class to challenge dangerous veteran Evan Tanner. Our tale of the tape brought to you by Zions All Night. Zions Extreme Supplements for extreme athletes. Look for them at your favorite health food stores and gyms. 33-year-old Evan Tanner. The reach is not going to be a big difference. As you talked about, Frank, just 1 inch different between the 22-year-old Robbie Lawler and Evan Tanner. And our referee, none other than the best in the business, Big John McCarthy.
All right, here we go. Robbie, you ready? Evan, you ready? Let's get it on! Come on.
This night at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey is underway. Let's see if, very much like Baroni did, Lawler attempts to swing for the fences early.
I think he will. I mean, the only problem that Lawler's going to have about finding to get that shot in, Evan Tanner has a very unorthodox, crazy-looking style. He moves funny. So it's kind of weird to hit. But then again, on the other side, the reason why it's considered unorthodox and funny is because usually you're going to pay a price eventually for moving like that.
Two great camps who really like to study tape, so if there is something that Lawler can take advantage of, certainly Miletich and the boys have looked at it, but the same can be said with Couture and Lindland working Evan Tanner.
Some good exchange on strikes.
Robbie looks very confident early, but so does Evan Tanner. And I know what Joe Rogan's saying right now. Evan Tanner working the cornrows. I know Joe is going crazy right now with that. Joe Rogan on assignment. Frank Mir, the UFC heavyweight champion, with me in the broadcast booth. A shout out to Joe and a shout out to Guy Mezger. Guy, get well soon. Sorry you're not here tonight. Evan Tanner, Robbie Lawler, middleweight matchup.
One thing that's interesting, it looks like Evan Tanner might take advantage of is the one-time striking that hurt Robbie Lawler was against his loss against Pete Spratt. He didn't defend well against the leg kicks. He ended up having to stop the fight due to an injury received due to the leg kicks. Evan Tanner's throw a few hands, but I think he's really going to try to take advantage of that inside with his right leg, swinging in and shooting onto the inside of Robbie Lawler's right thigh.
Tanner caught him a moment ago. Lawler just shakes it off. Don't forget, website of choice for all the best in the UFC, UFC.tv. They clinch for the first time.
Robbie Lawler has superior position. He's on the ribs. Tanner has to get his hand back across the body.
Now here's where we find out really if they get into a battle with clinches and takedowns, who is the stronger man, and in a Matt Hughes fashion, Robbie Lawler with a big takedown.
And the triangle, Lawler's in trouble. Evan Tanner's very good at submissions. He has an armbar actually right now. Oh, his hand lifted up, he almost had it. The triangle is sunk in. I don't see it. Robbie Lawler's in trouble, folks.
What does Tanner have to do to finish
right
it?
now, if he just pulls down on the head, if he goes for the head, he's trying to get the arm. I don't think he realizes.
There it is, it's all over. It is all over. Submission victory by Evan Tanner. He had it, he sunk it, and he finished.
It's a good move. Again, he had him in the triangle. One thing that was a difference, that maybe just difference in styles and what he saw. Obviously, again, different perspectives. He's in the ring. He went for, it looked like to me, I want to see the replay, for a straight arm lock. He went ahead, had it over the shoulder, using his forearm to apply downward pressure. And just used the triangle instead of a finishing move, actually to hold and stabilize Robbie Lawler from being able to escape his guard.
When you and I talked about this fight yesterday, we talked about Evan Tanner and the underrated submissions that he has. You got to remember, this is a guy who submitted Homer Moore.
True, and I don't think anybody else has submitted Homer Moore. Big, strong, tough wrestler. Ended up armbarring him.
Now let's watch Evan Tanner work it early after the big slam by Robbie Lawler.
Immediately he passed the hand over the top. You can see now that Robbie Lawler's in trouble. He only has one shoulder and his head inside. Instead of going for the triangle, though, Evan Tanner looks like he locks it up. Again, he's locking it up. He's getting it tighter. If he would have pulled down on the head, he actually would have had the choke. But instead, Robbie's putting his arm straight, and he went for the straight arm bar. No, I have to take that back. It wasn't the armbar. From my side of the ring, it looked like it armbarred him. He actually did succumb to the choke.
To the choke, indeed. And Evan Tanner is victorious. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John McCarthy has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 22 seconds of the very first round. For the winner by tap out due to a triangle choke, Evan Tanner!
9th UFC victory for Evan Tanner, and he does it very quickly, submitting Robbie Lawler in Lawler's middleweight debut.
Here you see Robbie Lawler has perfect position on Evan Tanner. He's on the outside of his elbow. He locks it up, he drives his hips in, and just swings on Matt Hughes style slam. But from there, that's when he got in trouble. He was inside his guard.
And in the end of the fight, the tap, which is not like quitting. It is much respected here in mixed martial arts. Terry Kasem, she's with our winner.
Nice, Evan, nice. You submitted the guy with one of my favorite submissions, a triangle. How did it feel? Did you expect that?
No, that's not really what I was expecting. I didn't really know what to expect. Happy with the win. You know, I can make a house payment now.
It was awesome. You know, do you think with this victory, guys are going to think twice about stepping up a weight class to fight you?
Yeah, I don't know. He had a lot of, a lot of guts coming up, and taking on a fighter like me, I've got a lot more experience than he does. I don't know.
Well, I know that your teammate Matt Lindland was knocked out by Dave Terrell. What do you think about a matchup with you and Terrell?
That'd be great. I'll fight whoever.
Nice fight. Good one.
Can I thank my sponsors right quick? Sportsbook.com, Light Force Nutrition, Full Contact Fighter, Comp 28. I want to thank those guys for getting behind the sport.
Give it up for Evan Tanner, everybody.
Oh, what a start here to UFC 50, the War of 04. And in the main event tonight, the Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz, takes on tough Canadian slugger, Patrick Côté. Tito's 04 is an 04 he would like to forget, at least up to now. And with Côté saying, hey, if you thought that Chuck Liddell hit hard, I hit harder, Tito Ortiz replies, bring it on, young man, because you do not understand what you are entering into. Tito said to me just moments ago, I want to get back to being the old Tito. I want to explode on people. I want to dominate. I want to prove that I am still one of the best, if not the best, in the world of mixed martial arts. And earlier tonight, Tito Ortiz entered Boardwalk Hall here in beautiful Atlantic City, New Jersey, determined, relaxed, and ready to return to previous glory. Tito Ortiz later tonight in our main event of the evening. Oh, it is electric to say the least here in Atlantic City, Boardwalk Hall, right across the corridor from the world famous Trump Plaza. And don't forget, straight ahead, spend your New Year's Eve with us. It's the Ultimate New Year's Eve 2004. Plus Frank Mears on the men. Elsewhere on our UFC update, how about the reality TV show on Spike TV forthcoming and re-airs on Fox Sports Net of great UFC competition. For that and other news, I bring in UFC President Dana White. And Dana, first of all, we've talked before about it. Thank you for being with us. How about this reality show on Spike TV? Give us the details.
It's very exciting. You know, we've been waiting. Everybody who's a fan of this sport has been waiting for a long time for us to get a TV deal. Finally, Spike has had the balls to put the UFC on, and we're very excited about it. You know, one of the things that I think the hardcore fans are really going to be excited about is there's actual fighting on this show. We put together a great cast of fighters, unbelievable cast of fighters. The television show is going great. You're going to see some of the best up-and-coming talent in the world on this TV show, and it's very exciting.
Another network that has always been a big supporter of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, going back to our entire show dedicated to the best damn sports show, period, is FSN, Fox Sports Net, and they're once again jumping into the UFC pool.
We just did a 4-fight deal with them, and our first fight aired Sunday night, and it was Tito Ortiz versus Chuck Liddell. The ratings were so good that now we were going to do 3 other shows. They want to start doing live fights with us also.
Now that is an amazing, amazing progression in what you've been trying to achieve, but you promised us all the time that this would happen. But I have to say, you also said we're going to Japan in December, and that's not going to happen. What happened with that one?
Unfortunately, we were unable to put together a heavyweight fight that our partners in Japan were happy with, so we've decided to postpone it and put it off, but we'll definitely be going to Japan in June.
June is a perfect time to visit the Far East. Now, talk to me again, because this is surprising to me as well. FSN wants to do live fights.
Yeah, the show was so successful on Sunday night that the format was supposed to be 4 fights a year, 1 a quarter, and they're all supposed to be taped events. Like this fight, some of the hottest fights here tonight could end up being on TV. So what we did was they called us up and said, we want them live. We want to start doing live fights. And that's what I've been waiting for all this time. Once the fans see this live and feel the energy, Fox and Spike are going to do phenomenal ratings.
Dana, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mike.
Dana White with great news again, our UFC president here on our UFC update. Let's roll on with the great action here from the Ultimate Fighting Championship in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Welterweights now, call it the #1 contender matchup. Frank Trigg, his opponent, Renato Barissimo, would like to keep this fight on the ground. It's a welterweight war.
Frank Trigg is an amazing athlete and one of the best strikers in the UFC. Always in excellent condition, Trigg has also added striking and submission skills to complement his formidable wrestling ability. Trigg hopes to be victorious and earn another shot at the UFC World Welterweight title.
This fight is going to end early and it's going to end violently, just like every one of my fights. Now, Ultimo, I run right out there, hit him with a straight left, and then, you know, it breaks his nose and the fight's over.
Renato Charuto Barissimo is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who made an impressive UFC debut, defeating former welterweight champion Carlos Newton by unanimous decision. In his next match, he nearly submitted former champion Matt Hughes in the first round, but ended up losing a decision. Now Barissimo is back to try and prove that it is he, not Trigg, who deserves a shot at the title.
If I predict to be, you know, come in and get a good, you know, combination, you know, see if, you know, get a bad shot, you know, capitalize from that bad shot, you know, going to his back or, you know, working my submissions, and hopefully I can make him tap, or, you know, I can knock him out in the first combination that I throw.
Coming up next, Frank Trigg takes on Renato Charuto Barissimo.
Tale of the tape for this welterweight matchup. Brought to you by Science Extreme Supplements for extreme athletes. Look for them at your favorite health food stores and gyms. 32-year-old Frank Trigg, 31-year-old Charuto Barissimo, and yes, there is a definitive reach advantage with Trigg at just 5'9" and Barissimo at 6'1". Let's get this one underway. And our referee for this matchup between Trigg and Barissimo will be Herb Dean.
You ready? You ready to fight? You ready to fight? Let's do it.
Here we go. Frank made an interesting comment. The basis of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is defense. So Frank Trigg wants to be offensive against this BJJ black belt.
There's a good example. Looked like Cejudo wants to go for the takedown. And again, superior wrestling that Trigg has. He's controlling the hips. He's keeping his hips out. Cejudo went for a little judo inside leg sweep. Trigg easily stepped over the top. Comes again. Good hip control.
Now Trigg wants to strike and continue to strike and not just get into a wrestling-only mentality. He said sometimes when you see those kind of takedown opportunities like a $10,000 bill, you don't know if it's real or not, because it isn't, but it's sitting on the floor, you want to grab it.
Definitely. I mean,
so he wants to show his I think, wide array of talents here tonight, Frank.
Which is a good thing for a fighter to have a good attitude, to say, look, I want to show I'm versatile. But bottom line is you have to do what it takes to win. I think a lot of fighters need to realize, go for victory, do what you do well, show your versatility when what you do well doesn't work, and you have to switch to something else.
Matching the pace will be key for Barissimo because Frank Trigg always pushes the pace. He thinks that will help to force mistakes and cause some cardio fatigue. As Barissimo now has Frank Trigg pushed up against the fence.
Definitely, and one thing that this is taking a look at Cejudo's using all his body to go ahead and power down on Trigg. Trigg's not having to do a whole lot, but just go ahead and block hips. He's delivering a few knees to the midsection, chipping shots. How much energy is this taking out of Cejudo? I have to guess that's tiring. He's a jiu-jitsu guy, not a wrestler. That when you're doing something you're not used to, exchange of hands.
Yep, they got it right in there. And there you go. And now that is wrestling 101. That's the mentality. Not always a bad thing because Frank Trigg was able to avoid the other strikes.
Now we're going to see the two style clashes.
Right.
Again, we said Trigg wanted to do stand-up. Started to get in trouble. Immediately his instincts took over and he shot on Cejudo. Now it's the wrestler inside, the jiu-jitsu man's guard.
Up against the fence. I'd like to throw out a happy anniversary to Steve and Beth Morrow, who are huge Ultimate Fighting Championship fans. And they are spending their anniversary with us. Steve and Beth Morrow, happy anniversary from all of us at Zuffa in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Closed guard now. Frank Trigg does have the advantage of pushing Barissimo on the fence though.
Armbar. Now to a leg lock. He's switching off. Great combination. If Frank Trigg falls down, he's in trouble. Cejudo's doing a spider guard. He's spinning out, taking a lot of abuse.
And that's what Frank Trigg talked about. As he tries to submit me, I'm going to punch him in the face. And that's what he's trying to do. He said it's hard to cap off a submission when you're getting punched in the face. And there's some shots.
Cejudo puts himself in a bad position to be going what he's going for. He's going for sport jiu-jitsu. He does have a triangle attempt. Trigg's powering out. No, he's caught in the,
Trigg able to power out, and again he buries down a left. Now Trigg is caught on his face, but he's starting to abuse Renato Barissimo.
Very aggressive on top, doing exactly what he said he was going to do. I'm going to punish my opponent. So far, the Cejudo attempts on submissions were being nullified, and Trigg made him pay every time he went for a submission.
Contrasting styles colliding, basically, aren't they, Frank?
Definitely. I mean, you're seeing the mistakes, and maybe the moves that Cejudo's going for a little too sportative.
All right, now they are back on their feet. Let's see if Trigg is comfortable engaging. Remember the reach advantage, but Trigg feels he's the better striker. He ducks inside, and down they go again. 135 remains in round one.
Again, going for a leg lock, and Trigg blocked it. He's coming over the top with punches. I wonder if Cejudo's going to feel the same confidence to go for it. Again, Cejudo has a triangle attempt locked up. He's over the shoulder. This time it's a lot deeper. If he pulls down on the head and drives his hips up, this move could finish out Trigg if Trigg does not get around the corner and get his head out. Trigg's in trouble. Trigg is in a lot of trouble.
Frank Trigg trying to survive, trying to cut off the air. Is Barissimo.
He's in trouble.
He's locked in. Can Trigg avoid? Trying to throw down a haymaker.
Look for Cejudo.
Oh my, what a great job by Frank Trigg.
Way to escape.
How much danger was he in there?
In a lot of danger. Most guys would not have gotten out of that. That shows the ability of Trigg to escape. A lot of the heart really got him out of that. That wasn't a clean technical escape.
That was just powering out of it, wasn't it, Frank?
And that makes me wonder now, what does that do gas-wise? When you power out of things, you're not using technique, it's tiring. But again, it's also disheartening for Ceruto to lock up an almost submission. You almost got the guy powers out of it. It takes a little out of you too.
Slippery submissions, very calm, likes to lull you to sleep is what Frank Trigg said about Renato Barrichello. And so far the pace has been pushed, but there have been multiple submission attempts here in the contest so far. Trigg back up. He's going to try to come down and come down hard.
And this is another example of Trigg's confidence. The guard has been open. He could step out of it. He didn't feel comfortable being in there. He is pursuing a ground game. He's not avoiding the submission game at all.
Round one is in the books. Round one, a good one.
Great round. You see the triangles. He's tight. All he did basically was slam down and pulled his head out. Ceruto didn't really have maybe the elbow caught deep enough. That escape was more of a luck thing. A little bit of sweat, a little bit of fatigue on Ceruto's side maybe. Not a clean escape, and that takes energy out of you.
Coming up later tonight, our co-main event of the evening for the welterweight championship, the French-Canadian Georges St-Pierre takes on the former five-time defending welterweight champion, the farm boy, Matt Hughes. That later tonight. Matt Hughes arriving earlier today here at Atlantic City's Boardwalk Hall. Matt was ornery yesterday during the weigh-ins. Didn't have a whole lot to say. Earlier tonight, he's out watching his buddy Tony Fricklin fight, accompanied by his twin brother Mark, former heavyweight champion Tim Sylvia, former thanks to you, by the way, Frank Mir, and Matt Hughes will fight later tonight.
You know, and interesting, I think this fight's going to come down to be honest with you, is conditioning.
Yeah.
Both fighters are equal martial artists. They have different things they're good at, but both are nullifying each other's offenses, and they both have great defenses to the other guy's attributes. Let's see who gets tired first. The first round was very tiring to both guys.
Well, as an American wrestler, as he calls himself quite frequently, Frank Trigg is very confident that he has superior conditioning. I guess we'll find out firsthand here tonight.
And this is not a good position for Ceruto. His hips are up, his head is down. That tires you out. That's in maybe the groin.
Frank Trigg motioning to Herb Dean, but it looks like he is fine. Both are trying to throw some knees in the clinch. Trigg, very much like we see out of Team Quest and Couture and Lindland. I mean, he's a wrestler, so he likes control. Not a Greco-Roman wrestler like those guys, but still likes the wrestling control.
Oh, they're exchanging.
It's going.
And Barrichello was rocked. Trigg trying to finish him off. Barrichello ducks under the combination, but he was stunned momentarily.
He was. Trigg looks the sharper puncher.
Trigg
Those are illegal.
Got to be careful he doesn't take the elbow to the back of the head. He can take it to the side.
That was a
not
lean
to the
downward
back.
drop. I don't know why the referee isn't allowing that to happen, to be honest with you.
Man, I'm going to stop it. You need to do something.
You can go from the side with the elbows. You can just not go to the crown of the head.
What I was meaning by the illegal elbows, to me, it seemed very obvious that he was hitting the back of his head.
Right.
Coming down on the back of the head is an illegal move inside the
Correct.
UFC.
Absolutely correct. You can go from the sides, and that is obviously to protect our fighters, because fighters' safety is of the ultimate importance.
Definitely, Trigg's stand-up looks sharper than Ceruto. Ceruto is throwing sloppy punches. Trigg shot clean punches, and he's exactly where he wants to be. He's in Ceruto's half guard. He's going to pin him down and grind him out. Trigg's not exerting a lot of energy right here. And Ceruto's going to have to exert some energy to get out of here, which is energy that I don't know how much he has left to spare.
Well, Frank Trigg, the four-time USA Wrestling All-American and 2000 Olympic trials finalist, is really proud of the work he has done with his striking. Barrichello is in trouble. Barrichello's in trouble, and it is all over. It is all over. Frank Trigg has won here in the second round by referee stoppage. And Frank Trigg is victorious.
To me, again, it looked like it came down to a lot of conditioning there. Frank Trigg was doing exactly what he wanted to do, using strikes, defending the takedown. He kept the fight where he wanted to keep it. Barrichello got fatigued. And then Trigg was able to finish it off with a few elbows.
How impressive he was in round one to avoid the submission attempt. And then as we talked about, a wrestler, I mean, obviously you're Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but you've been wrestling, you know the wrestling mentality. Right. They just take so much pride in conditioning.
They do. There's a combination being thrown here. Again, Ceruto stepping forward, his chin's up, he's looking sloppy due to fatigue. Here Trigg is, sharp punches, hands inside. You can see straight punches beat sloppy punches, and then forcing Ceruto to go ahead and shoot.
And in the end of the fight,
at this point, I think Ceruto's just fatigued. He has nothing left. He's just holding on. At this point, it's just the referee has to stop the fight. All that's going to happen now is we're going to damage a world-class fighter.
and remember, rule number one, a fighter must be able to intelligently defend himself.
Oh, and that's a good thing.
Yep. Hey, and Herb Dean is the one who stopped the fight between you and Tim Sylvia when Tim wanted to go on. Tim Sylvia came back later and thanked Herb Dean for saving his career. So a great stoppage here by our referee, Herb Dean. Frank Trigg is victorious inside the octagon here tonight in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Let's throw it inside to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Herb Dean has called a stop to this contest at 2 minutes, 10 seconds of the second round. For the winner by TKO, Frank Twinkle Toes Trigg.
So Frank Trigg survives a very tumultuous situation in round one, and he steps one notch closer to his ultimate dream, and that is the UFC welterweight belt. Here's Kerry Casey.
What's up? That is what the UFC is all about, mixed martial arts. Submission, punch, submission, punch. That was an exciting fight. The crowd was on their feet. Did you think you'd take him with strikes?
You know!
That was a really tough fight against a really great opponent. Do you think you deserve a shot at the title?
I absolutely deserve a shot at the title, but it's not my decision to make. It's up to the management of the promotion team and my manager to make it happen. Hopefully, with this win, the way that I won, that they'll push me forth in the title fight, hopefully in February. I just hope that I'm going to be a champion that the UFC really wants to have on their side.
I have a question for you. If you rematch Hughes, what will you do differently?
Beat him.
Nice. Who do you think's going to win, Pierre or Hughes?
I got my money on Matt because I want a rematch with Matt. But if Pierre gets lucky, which the only way he can win is if he gets lucky, then I'll fight Pierre just the same, and hopefully Matt will give me a rematch later.
That fight rocked. Thank you. Thank you. It's awesome. Mike, back to you.
Kerry, thank you very much. George St. Pierre, Matt Hughes for the welterweight belt coming up later. And certainly Frank Trigg, as we mentioned earlier, said it's his drug, it's his addiction, that UFC welterweight championship, which belonged for so long to this man, Matt Hughes, from the Militich camp. He and Tito Ortiz, both 5 defenses of their championship belt. Matt wanted the record of 6, but he lost the belt. Now he wants it back, and he wants it back dearly. And to get it, he'll have to face off against this man, the French-Canadian George St. Pierre. Unbeaten in his mixed martial arts career, a welterweight title fight, our co-main event, is still ahead here from Atlantic City, New Jersey. 23-year-old George St. Pierre, the biggest night of his life is tonight in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Get out your chalkboard, get out your pencil, get out your highlighter. It's time for Mixed Martial Arts 101. Time for your Mixed Martial Arts lesson. And we remind you before this lesson, do not try this at home. These are trained professionals who are pretty darn professional at what they do. And this tonight is the Kimura.
The move we're going to look at today is called the Kimura. It is a submission that works against our opponent's shoulder. It was named after Kimura, who broke Helio Gracie's arm with this in Brazil many years ago. Let's see how it's done. White will have side control on Black. White is going to trap Black's wrist. He's going to unhug his head, come underneath Black's tricep, and secure his own wrist. From here, White will step over Black's head, turning him up onto his side, keeping his arm bent at a 90-degree angle. From here, White will torque the shoulder out, causing Black to tap or have his shoulder dislocate. This is one variation of the Kimura. It can be applied from many different positions, not just across the side.
Frank, how about from UFC 44, Carl Parisian and Dave Strasser?
Yeah, it's a great example of a standing Kimura. Right there on the picture, you can see that the Kimura has already been applied by Parisian. He has it on Strasser. The movement's locked up. He sits back, scoops the leg over the top. Now you can see he's just going to cross his body back over his opponent to give him the leverage to go ahead and torque down on his body, on the shoulder. Here again, the flip. He has to cross over. That way to pin his opponent's back to the mat as well as possible. You can see as he's applying pressure that his opponent actually starting to sit up. That is actually a little counterproductive to the Kimura.
So there you go, Mixed Martial Arts 101 on the mat with Mark Lehman. Hope you enjoyed the feature this evening. Speaking of features, how about one of our co-main events as we are set to put this show into high gear tonight here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Coming up next, Matt Hughes, George St. Pierre for the welterweight championship here in the UFC. For George St. Pierre, folks, check it out. He is just 23 years old. As my good friend Joe Rogan would say with a victory tonight, he's at the top of the food chain at only 23 years old. But for Matt Hughes, he is dynamic, he is tough, he's a wrestler at heart, and he feels he is going to overpower this opponent tonight. Is it a return for glory and to glory for Matt Hughes, or will a new star shine here in Atlantic City tonight in the welterweight division?
George Rush
George Rush St. Pierre is the undefeated Canadian welterweight mixed martial arts champion. St. Pierre made his UFC debut defeating Carl Parisian by unanimous decision and followed it up with a first-round knockout of Jay Haran. St. Pierre is equally dangerous standing or on the ground. At 23 years old, St. Pierre feels ready to add the UFC World Welterweight Championship to his resume.
For me, it's a win. It's a huge achievement. You know, it's the achievement of my life. I ain't scared. I control my fear, and I ain't scared, Matt Hughes. Everybody gonna be very surprised. I will shock the world.
Matt Hughes is one of the strongest pound-for-pound fighters in the sport. A fantastic wrestler, Hughes is renowned for his ability to slam his opponents to the mat and deal out brutal damage on the ground. Victims of his awesome power include such top fighters as Hayato Sakurai, Sean Shirk, Frank Trigg, Renato Verissimo, and Carlos Newton on 2 occasions. Hughes has had one of the longest title reigns in UFC history and is driven by the desire to once again hold that title and prove that he is the best welterweight in the world.
So I want my title back. I like to have it for one. And security with the UFC. You know, it's going to guarantee me that next fight. It's going to guarantee me a contract. And that's what I want.
Coming up next, George Rush St. Pierre takes on former champion Matt Hughes for the UFC World Welterweight title. Tail of the tape for this welterweight championship fight brought to you by Science Extreme Supplements for extreme athletes. Look for them at your favorite health food stores and gyms. Science Extreme Supplements for extreme athletes. 31-year-old Matt Hughes against the young Canadian, 23-year-old French-Canadian, Montreal's own George St. Pierre.
Okay, it's for the UFC Welterweight Championships. Do we have any questions from the blue corner? Any questions from the red corner? All right, gentlemen, shake hands, fight clean, fight hard, fight fair.
Here we go. Someone will leave a champion either for the first time or once again in this battle between that man, George St. Pierre, and that man, Matt Hughes. Big John McCarthy, our referee. This bout will be scored by Eddie Bravo.
Are you ready? Let's get it on.
Eddie Bravo providing our scoring here in the booth. The only American to tap with Gracie, our good friend Eddie Bravo here tonight. Early on, what do we expect to see? What is the tactic that you believe Hughes or St. Pierre will take?
Well, St. Pierre, I feel, doesn't want to be taken down by Matt Hughes. He has to feel that his advantage is going to be in striking. He's going to come in, again, like he is, just circling left, circling right, not making a stationary target for Matt Hughes. Matt Hughes on the other end is going to want to wait. If St. Pierre comes in and overextends himself, I don't believe it.
Early it goes to the mat. Hughes trying to work a choke. It is Matt Hughes on his back. We know one thing. Wrestlers are not the most comfortable human beings on their back.
And I would say Matt Hughes is probably past that definition now. I think he's very comfortable there. He's good on his back. He has skills. I think he's a little surprised that St. Pierre, as all of us, shot on Matt Hughes.
St. Pierre has good quicks, if you will, at just 23 years old. The one thing you see when you look at the physique, I mean, this is an incredible athlete in George St. Pierre.
He is. His speed advantage is definitely going to St. Pierre. He's a very quick athlete. If he can keep the fight elusive like this and moving around, definitely into his favor instead of being in a clinching, grinding match with Matt Hughes, which would be in Matt Hughes' favor.
And I'm sure that is what St. Pierre wants to do. St. Pierre said he trained for this fight full time. If he's grown up anywhere in the last 9 months to a year, it's in the mental side of the game. He was extremely confident when we visited with him earlier this week. Respectful but confident. Combination glances off the chin. Hughes is looking for the big slam.
Great defense so far by St. Pierre. Let's see if he's able to defend the shot. This is going to be a definite deciding factor in the fight, because Matt Hughes easily gets the takedown, discouraging for St. Pierre. If St. Pierre is able to keep Matt Hughes from taking him down, it's going to say something about this fight.
There it is. Matt Hughes 101 into the guard, and the guard is open.
Matt Hughes is so powerful. St. Pierre, though, not skipping a beat. He's going right for the Kimura.
And St. Pierre, remember, as well as being a wrestler, has Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Kimura's blocked right now by Matt Hughes. You can see that he reached across the waist and he has actually locked his hands together. If he keeps that locked up, there's no way he can pull out the Kimura. But then again, Matt Hughes isn't throwing punches right now either.
Keep working, come on.
As we watch these warriors, I'd like to tell you there's a new book coming out focused on the Ultimate Fighting Championship called Warriors of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, authored by Eric Krause, with a foreword by our own Joe Rogan. Look for it next month at all major bookstores.
I got to tell you, I'm very impressed with St. Pierre right now. The expression on his face was of complete serenity. He was calm as all. I can't believe it, being on the back with Matt Hughes against the cage, to be that calm and composed. Very impressed.
St. Pierre has been working out with the Canadian national wrestling team, a couple of Olympians, his training partner, over the last couple of years. And the last couple of months, more specifically. Matt's eye looks to be bloodied up just a little bit, the right eye. Oh! Spinning back kick into the midsection of Matt Hughes.
That took a lot of wind to get caught with that in the midsection. The diaphragm locks up, and it just spits all your out. You get the wind knocked out of you to get caught with a shot like that. Again, another testament to St. Pierre's athletic ability and as a martial artist. Not many spinning side kicks thrown in the arena here, not the octagon.
As I see the high kick answered, but not connected by Hughes. It's actually the left eye that seems to be a bit bruised and battered on Matt Hughes.
Who knows? There's so much clashing going on. It doesn't know if St. Pierre actually landed something. Could have been even in the takedown and taking the guy down. Just so much is going on in the ring. Cuts come up everywhere. Nice stiff jab.
Good straight punches by St. Pierre.
Great defense so far. Hips back, but then again, Matt Hughes doing what Matt Hughes does.
Now, it certainly seems that George St. Pierre, as you talked about, is extremely comfortable, especially on his feet.
Matt Hughes is past the guard of St. Pierre. Not a good position for St. Pierre. He's going to go and reestablish the guard and get back up to his feet. Putting the knee up there, I know looks funny to a lot of people. It looks like maybe he's trying to rest, but what he's actually doing is trying to stop the mount. He's keeping Matt Hughes from being able to cross his knee over the midsection.
Looking good, guys.
45 seconds remains in round number 1. It'll be interesting to see what our own Eddie Bravo thinks, because there have been points scored in this round by George St. Pierre. Now the relentless attack of Matt Hughes in an open guard now being utilized by St. Pierre. This is where Matt is at his best, though, the ground and pound.
And St. Pierre's guard is very good. I mean, he just avoided a big-time elbow. He was able to push to the outside and cross over. So far, again, he doesn't seem like he's being tired out by being on the bottom.
We saw that straight punch glance off of Matt Hughes' chin. Matt trying to finish this round 1 with a flurry and score some points. Matt Hughes with a submission, and it's all over! It's all over! Matt Hughes with a submission victory! Bang! Armbar over! Matt Hughes is once again the welterweight champion!
Beautiful armbar transition. Goes to show Matt Hughes is not a wrestler. Like I said, he's able to evolve.
And that was literally at the end of round 1. Literally at the very end. And Matt Hughes wins by submission. Expect the unexpected here tonight in Atlantic City, New Jersey.
What do you think, sir?
You talk about exploding.
That was a very quick armbar. Here we go. We see Matt Hughes is on the one side, damaging with punches and great technique. He throws a bunch of punches. St. Pierre goes for a Kimura. The counter to that is a step over the head and go for a straight armbar by switching over. That was a real combination, great jiu-jitsu flow. Here's another look from the other side. Again, punching. You can see St. Pierre locked up the Kimura, but he let Matt Hughes pass his legs. Matt Hughes stepped over the head, hit an armbar. That is perfect answer for jiu-jitsu for jiu-jitsu.
And who do you credit part of that to? When you're Matt Hughes, you part of credit that to Jeremy Horn.
Exactly.
Great
Jeremy Horn, great jiu-jitsu guys. Yep. There was another look at the spinning side kick that landed on Matt Hughes. I think obviously it hurt him for him to dive in with a bad shot right after the bat.
I'll tell you what, Hughes had his hands full, and I think both of you and I were in a bit of a state of disbelief at how comfortable it seems St. Pierre was. But bam, with that big hit, the arm bar, Matt Hughes is once again the welterweight champion. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee John McCarthy has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 59 seconds of the first round. For the winner by tap out due to an armbar, and now again, the UFC welterweight champion of the world, Matt Hughes.
And what a great show of class by George St. Pierre as he hoists Matt Hughes upon his shoulders in celebration. George St. Pierre, extremely gracious in defeat, and trust me, George St. Pierre has a great career ahead of him.
He does. He impressed me immensely in this fight, even coming out as the loser, Matt Hughes. Here we're going to see the armbar again. Once again, you're going to watch St. Pierre. He punched here. He's going to hook up a Kimura. See his right hand reaching over the armpit? Now he has a submission, but Matt Hughes answers back. He steps over the head and drops down to another submission. That's high-level jiu-jitsu there. That's not basics. That's not knowing how to avoid submissions. That is a guy who knows how to do submissions.
Matt Hughes, and again, you know he worked this with Jeremy Horn. Matt Hughes wins by armbar. He is once again the champion. Here's Kerry Casey.
Matt, that was fantastic. You look about as comfortable here in the octagon as most people do in their own home. Did you think you were going to submit this guy?
No, George has got such a good grappling background, and he's so strong that I never thought it was a possibility to submit him, although I do work with some of the best guys in the MMA, Jeremy Horn, Pat Miletich. But I want to say thanks to my sponsors, Rich's Boot Barn, Armalite, Tap Out, and Go Fast Energy Drink. And I want to say, USA. Pro America right here, baby. I'm born and raised in the United States. That's the way it's going to be.
Great fight. That was fantastic. Thank you so much, Matt.
It's the 1975 World Series with Cincinnati's own home run hitter, Rich Franklin, against the Puerto Rican Red Sox ultra-tough Jorge Rivera, who wins this hitting contest here tonight in Atlantic City. Jorge El Conquistador Rivera is a hard-nosed striker who likes to move forward and keep the pressure on his opponents. While striking is this Puerto Rican fighter's strong point, he feels he has all the tools to become a top contender in the middleweight division.
Being a UFC middleweight champion is the whole reason for me being here. You know, I didn't come in for any other reason. I came here to be champion.
Rich Ace Franklin was already considered to be one of the light heavyweight division's top prospects, and now with him dropping down to the middleweight division, there is no telling how far he might go. Franklin will be very strong for a middleweight, and he's known for his excellent striking and submission skills.
I think he's a solid puncher. He's consistent. I don't think he has as much power as I do. So I've said in interview after interview that I plan on keeping the fight on the feet as well. I think my stand-up is better than his. I think I'm faster. I think I'm stronger.
Coming up next, Rich Ace Franklin makes his middleweight debut against the very dangerous Jorge El Conquistador Rivera. And our tale of tape brought to you by Science Extreme Supplements for extreme athletes. Look for them at your favorite health food stores and gyms. 30-year-old Rich Franklin, 32-year-old Jorge Rivera. A battle here in Atlantic City, New Jersey to try to move up the middleweight ladder. Our referee is Mario Yamasaki.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's go!
All right, Rich Franklin in the camouflage shorts. Jorge Rivera in the red, white, and blue.
Rich Franklin very,
Wow, they clinch early. Franklin trying to throw some knees to the midsection.
there's a good example of boxing versus grappling. Again, Jorge came in with a strong shot. All Rich Franklin did was change levels a little bit. Boom, they're in a clinch.
Yeah.
Boxers typically aren't going to defend a takedown.
Now, we talked about it a moment ago, an errant knee to the very vulnerable area of Rich Franklin. And Rich will try to work it out. And he'll get a moment to regather himself. Unintentional, to say the least.
Huh? You guys see the clinch? Accidentally. It was meant to go up into the belly.
You stop for 5 minutes if you want.
Mario Yamasaki telling Rich Franklin, as we look at this replay, you can stop for as long as 5 minutes to regather yourself if you want. So Franklin will take his time. While he does, we'd like to remind you, as everyone continues to be amazed that Randy Couture, the light heavyweight champion, 41 years of age, keeps getting better in the octagon. Are you ready to learn how he does it? Check out the January 2005 issue of American Health and Fitness. It takes you through Randy's own personal training program so you can train like a champ. Check it out on the newsstands January 4th, 2005, or at ahf.com. Order your advance.
Again, Jorge came forward. Rich Franklin changes levels slightly, ducks his head 6 inches. Is all it took to avoid the punch. And now he took Jorge down, and he has a very good side control position right now.
Trying to pass the guard full mount.
Not quite yet. It seemed that Jorge went for a sweep, and Rich Franklin defended it well by stepping over the top. Now he has cross-eyed on the other end. Looking maybe to establish a guillotine choke. Not the easiest thing to go there. He does have control of the chin, though, which is totally legal. Again, Jorge's going to go for the same sweep. This is a very dangerous jiu-jitsu sweep. You can go between the legs, but if you fail, you're stuck on the ground, back down, with your arm between your opponent's leg, and he has both hands free.
You know, interestingly, as we begin this fight, 90 seconds in, neither fighter, I don't think, was really in a hurry to have this battle take place on the ground. And, you know, there's the justification there. Both are happy to get back up and go toe-to-toe.
Yeah, they both look like both look like they're looking for the stand-up. Again, like I was saying, both look seasoned as far as the stand-up game.
Rivera comes in strong.
Rich Franklin keeps circling to the right, which is the correct thing to do as a southpaw versus an orthodox striker.
And remember when Franklin debuted at 205 and he beat Evan Tanner with strikes in Miami back in April of 2003. He opened up a lot of eyes. He, a little bit unknown, the former teacher from Cincinnati, Ohio.
Uppercut.
Opened up a lot of eyes and then followed that up, winning by strikes over Edwin DeWeese at UFC 44.
This is a very nice technical battle inside. Rich Franklin has a collar tie, going for elbows and knees, and you're seeing body punches. Nice knee to the head.
Try to use the flying knee and go up high.
You're seeing Franklin's using very effective shots to go to the ribs and then sink one right up the middle into the chin.
Looked for the uppercut, and Rivera able to block.
Rich Franklin definitely seems like he's more comfortable in this dirty, clinching, boxing style of fight right now than Jorge does.
Franklin establishing control, pushing his opponent against the fence.
Franklin's doing something very interesting. He is totally risk controlling Jorge right now. If you notice, Rich Franklin's left hand is in total control of Jorge's right hand, enabling him to go ahead and throw those uppercuts. But then you would think that if Jorge just let go of his head, he has the same thing.
Dirty boxing in the clinch between Franklin and Jorge Rivera.
Neither guy looking for takedowns. Again, looks like both feel more comfortable throwing some devastating strikes, looking for the knockout.
Hey, let's throw a special heartfelt thank you out to our host, Donald Trump, and Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts. President and CEO Mark Brown in attendance tonight. Thanks to the Donald for hosting another great Ultimate Fighting Championship and believing in this great sport. Rivera trying to stun Franklin.
Oh,
down goes Rivera.
Nice.
Franklin
Jorge
trying to
had
finish.
Franklin on the run. Franklin just stood his ground, swung back. Again, a fighter's most dangerous when he's hurt. Jorge learned that. Franklin came back. Jorge looks, I don't think he's going to recover.
Jorge steps away. High kick.
Nice.
Franklin continues to throw with a vengeance. 1 minute remains here in round one.
Jorge's a tough guy. He withstood, I don't know many fighters would have just took that. They're back against the cage. Looked like he's going to weather the storm. He's going to hold on, try to get a second win. Both fighters were hurt. Both fighters coming back swinging. Very impressive.
Best athletes in the world, the mixed martial artist. Oh, big uppercut there. Left uppercut caught the chin of Jorge Rivera. Close in, they call it dirty boxing. In the clinch, Greco-Roman style.
perfected by light heavyweight champion Randy Couture. Former light heavyweight champion Tito Ortiz still ahead in our main event of the evening against Canadian fighter Patrick Côté. Let us not forget, in this action-packed night, we still have our main event. Tried the flying knee again, did Rich Franklin.
Rich Franklin is working the clinch a lot better. He's not using his hands to secure Jorge against the fence. He's leading his body in, throwing a lot of strikes to Jorge's ribs. He's throwing combos to the head. Great first round, back and forth.
Both were stunned, both survived. Jorge Rivera and his opponent here tonight, Rich Franklin. And still ahead, our main event of the evening. He was supposed to be in a preliminary fight earlier, now a Rocky Balboa story for young Patrick Côté, the French-Canadian, who believes he can knock out the former 5-time defending light heavyweight champion of the world, Tito Ortiz, the Huntington Beach bad boy. Our main event is coming up next.
Rich, pick your shots like you did, man. Don't let him hit you.
The corner of Rich Franklin, very impressed in the fashion in which he picked his shots.
You can beat this kid, man. Let's go. Okay, let's go out, out.
Very sharp shots, very impressive there. I think a lot of guys can look in our sport to
ready?
Franklin on how he's doing the clinch and strike.
Let's go!
Things that he's doing here that a lot of fighters haven't incorporated yet. Catching Jorge by surprise. Jorge seems to have the tradition of Muay Thai. I'm just going to clinch and hold down the head. The only thing is he's not getting the knees off that he would need. And he needs to get his hips out so that way he can be a threat.
Got the construction worker against the school teacher. You know, I guess most times you'd figure the construction worker kicked the crap out of the school teacher, right, Frank? I mean, you would think that.
This is fighting.
Yes, it's true. Pretty tough school teacher. I would have shut up.
You just hope you get sent to the principal,
absolutely,
right?
Absolutely.
You don't want to be asked to be stepped outside.
That's right. I would have shut up if he would have asked me to. Don't forget Ultimate KOs 1 and 2, the combo Ultimate Knockouts, UFC 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, and 48 in stores now, distributed by Studio Works Entertainment. The best of the UFC. Start your collection. It's a great Christmas
Nice
gift.
brawling in the clinch.
This fight scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. We have not seen a single fight go the distance yet here this evening.
If I was Jorge's corner, I would tell him to let go of the neck of Rich Franklin. His hand is not doing anything to defend himself, and his left hand is just being tied up. Rich Franklin's now basically in a battle of 2 hands versus 1.
And he is in front of his corner, Frank, so if that advice is to be given to him, it can be given to him quite clearly. Franklin with good octagon control, great aggression shown so far, which will get great points on the judges' scorecards.
Rich Franklin seems to have developed a little bit of a mouse underneath of his left eye. One of the strikes that they've been throwing inside there, even maybe just the rubbing. Who knows? He took a good shot. He has a pretty good swelling underneath the left eye. I'm sure there's a few headbutts being exchanged in here. Unintentionally.
Absolutely. Headbutt's illegal here in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. When you have two forces colliding, often, as you said, the unintentional matching of the melons occurs on frequent occasion. Are one of these two men a future champion in the middleweight division? Terrell, Lindland, Tanner comes down. Very impressive in victory over Robbie Lawler. Still have Baroni out there. Salivary looks great. I mean, all of a sudden, our matchmaker Joe Silva has put 185 and brought it to Hall of Fame status.
I think Jorge got a few effective punches off on the midsection there.
Yeah, and he got a good knee in too.
Yep. Watch the knee to the head.
Franklin ducks under.
His head low.
He winced in pain after that knee to the midsection, did Rich Franklin. So Jorge Rivera scores a point.
Nice inside leg kick. Should have followed it up. He had Jorge off balance.
Jorge looks no worse for the wear.
Tough
what
guy.
would seem a dominant performance so far by Franklin. And Franklin is all lit up under that left eye. 2 minutes and 8 seconds remains in round 2.
Nice leg kick. Hurt the knee.
Rivera tries to answer. Faked with the hands and came with the legs.
That was a good kickboxing technique. You throw a left hook to get your opponent's weight over on the leg that you want to attack, and you throw a chopping leg kick down there.
Something you won't see with boxing gloves on.
No.
Ah, and a knee again.
I think that knee definitely changed the tide of this fight a little bit.
No question, and the pace of Franklin has almost come to a screeching halt.
That's the thing a lot of fighters don't realize, or not a lot of people watching fighting don't realize. You get hit in the head, you can shake it off. 15 seconds later, 10 seconds later, you're back to reality. You take a bad body shot, you're not recovering. You're hurt, you're just going to breathe it out, and just whatever it takes out of you, you're just not going to get back.
Now let's see if he can then survive here for the next 75 seconds of round number 2. Franklin in the camouflage trunks, Rivera establishing his will in the red, white, and blue here in round number 2.
One thing I don't like that Franklin's doing that Jorge has yet to take advantage of is he's ducking at the waist to go ahead and avoid Jorge's onslaught. He keeps slipping his head down, not ducking as far as keeping his chin in front of his knee, but he's bending at the waist. If Jorge were to throw one fake punch and follow up with a knee, it'd be a very early night for both these fighters. Jorge would go down with an easy victory.
Jorge Rivera beat Mark Weir a couple of months back in July, working himself back into the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
Jorge in a little bit of trouble here.
Jorge at times has been a slow starter, and now we see him really start to push the pace.
Watch a triangle coming from the mouth.
Be in trouble here.
If Jorge doesn't get his elbow, switched it off. He was able to escape his elbow. That's why the triangle didn't happen.
20 seconds left here, Frank, in round 2. And now some blood coming out of the facial region of Rich Franklin.
That's one thing it's hard to tell amongst fighters. Some guys cut easy, some guys don't. It's one thing you just really can't work on.
Could make the argument we're tied at 1 round apiece, couldn't you?
Very much so. I mean, this round here could almost go either way just because the knee definitely made a decisive turnabout in energy. But both fighters will have the same amount of time, in my opinion, in charge of the round. So I don't know. This is a hard round to judge at the moment.
All right, Rich Franklin, Jorge Rivera will go to the 3rd round here tonight in Atlantic City. Don't forget, still ahead, the Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz, re-enters the octagon, looking to work his way back up the light heavyweight ladder. And his opponent, the hard-hitting Canadian, Patrick Côté, very confident, had lots to say about if he thought, meaning Tito, if he thought that Chuck Liddell hit him hard. Wait till you see what I bring, my brother. Patrick Côté against Tito Ortiz, our main event of the evening. Maybe a bit of indecision in the approach that should be taken to round 3 with Rich Franklin and Jorge Rivera.
Roger, are you ready?
Mario Yamasaki searching for the 3rd. It has been entertaining to say the least. 10 minutes of a battle, 10 minutes of a war. Franklin wants to push the pace here early. Which one of these men could be a future champion in the UFC?
I think Jorge got caught in the eye a little bit on the right. He's winking.
Maybe by the shoulder.
Both ducking their heads in. Who knows what it could have been? I don't know. I couldn't quite see if it was the left hand.
That's amazing. You get hit like that. You're clinched up with an opponent who wants to throw you down, smash your face in, but you gather yourself. I mean, it's not like you stop and you go, oh man, I got poked in the eye.
Well, there is one way to stop, but then the night. So you can
true.
tap and leave the ring, but you're never coming back.
That's very, very true.
None of these guys are going to tap.
Not from that.
No, not from that.
And the one thing that should be mentioned, though, Frank, when you say that, there's no shame in tapping. If an opponent has gotten the better of you at a certain moment, a la the armbar we saw from Matt Hughes to George St. Pierre, you tap with class, you reward your opponent, you come back to fight another day.
At this point in everybody's career, you realize, look, if I got caught in the armbar, there's nothing to prove by you breaking my arm. I got caught, and you tap, you save yourself from bodily injury, and you continue on to go fighting.
Don't forget, website of choice is UFC.tv if you're interested in the re-aired programs of our new relationship at FSN, Fox Sports Net. Check out UFC.tv. We'll tell you when to watch the shows on Fox Sports Net. We'll tell you when to watch the new up-and-coming series on Spike TV. We'll tell you if indeed we are headed to Japan in June. Good timing.
Looks like Rich is going to go ahead and opt for the outside fighting right now. He had the clinch, pulled away. Shows me he's looking for some way to force a victory. I like that. It looks, you know, he's not just going to go and sit there and maybe try to get a takedown and go for the easy point win. He's opening up and he's looking for something to go ahead and score a victory. Nice.
Down to the ground they go, ducking under.
Boxing versus wrestling. Came forward, throwing hands, changed levels. That's one thing you have to be worried about in the sport of the UFC and it's mixed martial arts. When you come forward, you have to be ready to sprawl at the same time. You can't commit 100% forward. You know, you end up on your butt.
Franklin started martial arts out of high school. Was a high school football player. Would have loved to have gone and played collegiate football, but he was 6'1", 155 as a high school senior. Not a lot of D1 scholarships going to them boys.
A lot of blood coming from Rich's face, draining. I wonder how much. Fights like that always make me nervous. A fight that bleeds the wrong way, and you see an exciting fight like this end, you know.
Blood is coming out of the facial area of Rich Franklin. Never been defeated here in the octagon. 2 victories over Tanner and DeWeese.
Now, this is one thing about the UFC, the ground fights. If both fighters are not trying to push and develop, if one fighter is stalling and they're not trying to get a better position, move forward, to go ahead and go for a position to end this fight, look for submissions, look for improved position, they will restart this fight on its feet. Rich Franklin's doing the correct thing. He's in the half guard. He's prying apart the far leg. If he pushes on the knee, he can almost go for the mount, or he's going to get his leg passed to the cross side.
He's definitely disturbing, or was a moment ago, pardon me, Frank, the breathing pattern of his opponent, Jorge Rivera, as well.
Being on top and being heavy and doing good jiu-jitsu can go ahead and do that to your opponent. You're trying to suck a little bit of life out of him. You're going to make him despair, feel like he's stuck underwater, and you're holding him by his ankles.
Who will win on the judges' scorecard if this continues for another 90 seconds?
Elbows.
Rich Franklin, Jorge Rivera, middleweight matchup.
He actually has an armbar just like, if he wants to go for it, he actually had the same setup. Now he's going for an American wrist lock. Opted not to go for it. Knee on belly. I think he's going to sit up and go for strikes. He was going to end up mounting.
May try to go with the knee to the solar plex area if he can get the leverage. Rivera has that arm
tucked.
He's
going for an arm bar.
Yeah, is he trying to get the submission? As a fight goes on, Frank.
Nice, he has the mount.
There he goes,
He's
full mount.
Bad choice, you don't give up your back.
Rivera in a full defensive mode here. 47 seconds remaining. Rivera very slippery, trying to spin around. Back to half guard. Now he's got side control. Leg came right back out.
Armbar.
Armbar.
Nice.
Looking to finish, and it's all over. It is all over. Submission victory by Rich Franklin. The armbar leads to the win.
And again, under fatigue, under distress. That was the 3rd round of a hard fight, and still pulled off a technical submission.
So still we have not had a fight go to the judges' scorecard tonight.
I think we're going to send the judges home. I don't think we need them anymore. These fighters are deciding to fight for themselves.
You saw and talked about it, Frank. He was setting it up. How was he setting it up, and why was it effective?
Well, you can see that when he's going there, he's starting to position he was pushing down on the elbow to make sure that Jorge couldn't pull it back across. He started pushing down on the head. All the telltale signs are showing that he's setting up. He telegraphed. I mean, everybody telegraphs that a little bit. You're setting up. You're getting in the right position to go for the armbar. Then he put the leg over the head. You can see here, scoops under. He's controlling the arm. Now he pivots his hips over to get the foot over the head. Keeping Jorge's back on the ground, he extends his hips up. The elbow has nowhere to go but to go ahead and snap if Jorge were not to go ahead and choose to tap out.
The suddenness that we saw Matt Hughes throw the armbar on, the suddenness that we saw Rich Franklin throw the armbar on with, that is what I think is amazing to the mixed martial arts fan who is just still learning the submission game.
No, submissions are not a slow, well-developed thing. When you hit a submission, they can be lightning fast. Devastating.
And you've talked to us before, Frank, that the submission is like a knockout because it happens, bam, lightning quick.
One thing, accidents can happen from that. You're exploding so hard from a submission, the guy thinks he might be able to get out of it, and that's the only time an injury could occur. And that's why the referees are so honest. They're watching for that. If they see something happening, you're not reacting fast enough, they're going to save your limb.
Tim Sylvia, Frank Mir, I think, is a perfect example of that. Let's go into the octagon, get the official word, and congratulations to Rich Franklin. Here's Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a big hand for these 2 UFC middleweight warriors. Referee Mario Yamasaki has called a stop to this contest at 4 minutes, 28 seconds of the 3rd round. For the winner by tap out due to an armbar, Rich Franklin!
So another submission victory and another impressive armbar here tonight at Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. And congratulations to the winner. Here's Kerry Kasem.
That was a fantastic fight. That was a beautifully executed armbar. And, I mean, so much of the fight happened in the clinch. Were you ready for that?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm good at the clinch. Rivera, his clinch was very good. So in the third round, you saw me when I broke. I was deciding that I was going to go to plan B because throwing those punches and clinches just weren't working for me.
I have a question about the armbar. Did you expect to get him in that?
Well, I started working for the armbar, a different armbar a little bit earlier as soon as I passed into the side mount, but he was really sweaty, so I was debating on going it for it the second time, but I didn't think I was going to finish him with the punches. He was squirming too much, so I decided to go.
Okay, take a look at this replay right here.
Well, I'm laying on my back and saying I won. I'd like to say thanks to my sponsors, Tap Out, Damageware, Biz. I'd like to say thanks to God. He's been with me through all my training and my fighting.
Quick question, do you feel stronger fighting at 185?
I don't know, really. It'd be hard to judge after one fight. Rivera was a strong opponent. As you can see, we're equally sized, so.
Tanner won his fight tonight, and I know you beat him at 205. Do you welcome a rematch at 185?
If he wants it, and that's good for the organization and ratings, and the fans want to see it, then so be it.
Give it up for Rich Franklin, everybody!
It is time now for the main event of the evening. In the light heavyweight division, the former five-time defending champion, the Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz, faces off against newcomer Patrick Côté, who replaces Guy Mezger, who was injured during training. Let's talk Tito Ortiz. He was on a 6-fight win streak. The victims included Silva, Tanner, and even the world's most dangerous man. He was the UFC. He was the poster boy. He seemed invincible. Well, that invincibility is no longer. And tonight he takes on a young French-Canadian, Patrick Côté, who says and has said often, you thought Chuck Liddell hit hard? I hit harder. So what will we see tonight? The return of the real Huntington Beach bad boy or the arrival of Patrick Côté? Patrick the Predator Côté is the undefeated Canadian light heavyweight champion. He is a power puncher who has knocked out some of the toughest fighters Canada has to offer.
I hit very hard, and I have a great mobility. I move a lot in the ring.
Now he makes his U.S. debut and hopes to keep his undefeated record intact.
I'm ready to fight in the UFC, and I'm ready to fight the best because I want to be the best.
But is he biting off more than he can chew against the former UFC World Light Heavyweight Champion?
This is the best time to fight Tito Ortiz because his mentally is broken now.
Far from mentally broken. It takes a lot more than a couple losses to mentally break me.
I'm going to kick his ass.
I hope this kid really thinks that he can knock me out because he's going to take a beating.
The Huntington Beach bad boy, Tito Ortiz, ruled the light heavyweight division with an iron fist for nearly 3.5 years.
I'm not the champion, but you know what? I'm still the same fighter. I had doubts in myself after losing the first time. I had doubts of going, well, can I make it back? Can I do this? Can I come back and do it?
Now, Ortiz has put aside the distractions and refocused on what made him famous in the first place.
I just need to stick to my game plan and do what I do best. Ground and pound is where it's at. Let's see if this guy can stop the double. Let's see if he can stop elbows in his face.
The former light heavyweight champion wants his belt back and promises to crush anyone who gets in his way.
I hope John McCarthy saves him. I hope the guy has a really good corner guy. And as far as a doctor on weight for him, because after this fight's over, he's going to need it.
Frank Mir, if you are Patrick Côté, and I've got 3 questions for you. They're all good ones. If you're Patrick Côté, do you really want to open up your mixed martial arts career here on the big stage, the UFC, against Tito Ortiz?
I personally wouldn't, not in that situation. Patrick Côté only has one thing going for him, puncher's chance. He has a right hand that could knock out Ortiz if he catches him. It's not a great chance, but I guess it is a chance. I would think I would want to start off a little bit easier. I don't want my first fight in the UFC to be the main event against the former poster boy for the UFC. Some bad things going on, but then again, Tito's on lost his last 2 fights. Maybe he's taking advantage. He has everything to gain and nothing to lose in this fight. That right hand hopefully comes around.
Then again, Rocky Balboa never wanted to fight Apollo Creed. and he took him the distance in fight number 1. Lost a tough decision, then beat him again. I mean, for Patrick Côté, the interesting thing that he said, and I ask you about this, he said that Tito's will is broken right now. Tito's wounded. Advantage Côté or disadvantage Côté?
I think he missed that woundedness by about 1 fight. I think that he might have been wounded in his last fight as far as not taking anything away from Chuck Liddell. Phenomenal fighter. He beat Tito Ortiz. But I think Tito Ortiz now has got that attitude where it's like, screw this. I ain't going down again, and I'm mad. And a mad, angry Ortiz is a good thing because that's how he fights. He's physical, he's powerful, he's a mean person.
He is, and I know what you were going to say, and he's one of those as well.
He's one of those as well.
All right, if you're Tito Ortiz, you understand the significance of this night. This is Game 7, and you must win, and Tito has admitted that. Is that extra pressure going to be a good motivating factor to Tito, or does that make Tito hesitant at all?
I think he's extremely motivated. 2 reasons. 1, his back is against the wall. 2nd, no fighter likes having anybody put in the ring with him that doesn't have the credentials to compete and thinks he can compete against you. Nothing makes me more angry than to think that somebody can beat me. And if you don't have the credentials behind it and you think you can beat me and you don't have it, I'm even twice as mad and twice as eager to make sure you never think about stepping in the ring with me again.
Remember, at the very top of the show, we showed you a very agitated Tito Ortiz saying, you know what, you guys are putting words in Côté's mouth. You're going to end up getting Côté hurt. See if he hurts him. Tail of the tape. Here from Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey, our main event of the evening. Light heavyweight matchup between Tito Ortiz and Patrick Côté. Our tail of the tape brought to you by Zions. Extreme supplements for extreme athletes. Look for them at your favorite health food stores and gyms. Finally, he is no longer the kid. Tito Ortiz is the veteran at 29 years old. Côté, 24. Tito has a definitive reach advantage of 3 inches. They both come in at under 205 pounds. Mr. Chuck Tito likes it.
All right, gentlemen, you're giving your instructions in the dressing room. Do I have any questions from the blue corner? Any questions from the red corner? Touch gloves, come out fighting.
Keep your hands up, baby. Do
it was supposed to be Guy Mezger. Guy, I know you're at home watching. Get well soon, buddy. Patrick Côté is going to try to beat the man you wanted to beat. That's Tito Ortiz. Eddie Bravo back here, octagon side. He will help us score the bout if he gets a turn. Big John McCarthy, our referee.
Are you ready? You ready?
Wow.
Let's get it on. Come on.
Côté comes right out, tries to take the center of the ring. Swings for the fences early. He's got the puncher's chance.
He landed one, and Ortiz is there.
I mean, he has a smile on his face. See if he's smiling in a couple of minutes.
We'll see. Doing the right thing.
Tito looking to bring him down. Tito looking for a little control. Tito stumbled. Caught a right. And now he says, bring it on. And there's the big takedown.
Nice shot.
There's Tito
was
101.
hurt.
Yeah, Tito was stunned.
His legs wobbled, but hey, good constitution. He recovered within 2 seconds. Shot a good double. That was a lot of ring savvy there. He scared, or he lured Côté into coming in too aggressively. When he said, come on, Côté came in stupid, and that was a veteran move. Ortiz in his elbows.
The ground and pound. This is when Tito Ortiz was dominant. He worked the ground and pound to perfection. On Matt Hughes, and he worked it from within somebody's guard, which he's doing right here.
I see now once he go ahead and recovers a little bit more, he's going to go ahead and start moving towards the cage. I guarantee that's going to happen. Another vicious elbow. Watch Tito. I guarantee he's going to walk towards the cage.
Côté, boxing, kickboxing, a soldier in the Canadian Army, started training in the Army. A little bit of wrestling, a little bit of jiu-jitsu. But he wants to be on the feet. He does not want to be down here with Tito Ortiz.
Not at all. This is Tito's bread and butter. On the ground, hitting you with vicious elbows. But we'll see what Côté has as far as jiu-jitsu. He says he's a jiu-jitsu guy. Let's see if his hips are going to be able to move in and out. Ortiz has jiu-jitsu also. He's done well in Abu Dhabi. Submitted people in Abu Dhabi. Not totally a newcomer to the jiu-jitsu realm. Obviously also well-versed in that.
Randy Couture, the light heavyweight champion. Chuck Liddell, the #1 light heavyweight contender on a collision course.
Come on,
for a title fight. Tito wants to get back into the picture. Other great light heavyweights want to get involved at 205. Tito's knee was banged up. He had a slip disc in his back. He says he feels great again. He needs to be fast and strong, and let's see if he is fast and strong here. So far, so good. First couple of minutes, the pace being pushed by Tito Ortiz. Côté stunned him with a right, and Tito brought him in, landing an elbow there. That forearm, he uses that forearm. midsection.
And I got to give it to Côté. I just saw his face. He's still laughing. He's still smiling on the bottom. Again, I don't know if this guy is just the toughest guy I've ever seen or the craziest.
And I quote, Tito thinks I'm just a little French-Canadian. I'm going to kick his ass. Great boxer. I'm going to surprise him on the ground. Well, we'll find out.
So far, I haven't seen anything really impressive yet from Côté's guard. You know, his hips aren't moving all that well. He's pretty much keeping a stationary, closed guard, not doing a lot of hip movement. Ortiz bringing him to the cage. This is going to spell a lot of trouble for Côté if he gets pinned against the cage.
And he's got a lot of time. Tito does to work his magic too, Frank.
He does. He's in a good spot for him, not expending a lot of energy. He's sucking Côté down.
And keep in mind, many times during Tito's career, he's trained for a 25-minute fight, a potential 25-minute fight.
Condition has always been Tito Ortiz's strong point. That's the part that would dread people, opponents. Man, if I don't put this guy away, he's still going to be going 100 miles an hour in the 4th round, in the 5th round. He ain't quitting until the bell rings.
And Tito training much differently here for the 15-minute max time limit on a non-title fight.
Looks to me Côté is trying to hold on a little bit maybe from the bottom. Again, rules of the UFC. If it's not active, if he can stalemate Ortiz, is to hold his arms and not do anything, they're going to restart this on his feet, where Côté obviously probably going to feel a little more confidence. But Côté may be doing counterproductive by him throwing punches back. He's allowing Ortiz to keep this fight on the ground.
Great to be back here in Atlantic City. Here right by the Trump Taj Mahal and the Trump Plaza Boardwalk Hall. A special thank you to our host Donald Trump and Trump Hotels and Casino Resorts. As I said earlier, President CEO Mark Brown in attendance tonight here, Frank.
You're gonna see now Côté's trying to go over, get his elbow or his foot, excuse me, his leg over the top of the shoulder of Ortiz. If he can do that and keep the arm trapped, which inside there he has a possible arm bar. If Ortiz pulls the arm bar out, possible triangle. Nice vicious elbows coming down. Ortiz looking to cut open the forehead of Côté.
That was a good one. Connected with that one. Not smiling now.
No, I think he's gonna wipe the smirk off his face.
Come on, work your way out.
With his elbow.
Get busy, come on.
Tito, and I quote, I lose to him, I know Tito Ortiz is done. And we should give some credit to Tito Ortiz because when Joe Silva came with the Guy Mezger injury and said, hey, I got to put a different opponent in, he took the fight on 2 days' notice, too.
Tito's always been known for being able to do
Tito's
that.
always, anytime, any place.
Back in the day, Vladimir Machenko was a last minute. I think he had 10 days.
Yep.
And on paper, I'll be honest, I didn't think Tito could beat Vladimir Machenko. Vladimir Machenko, supremely better wrestler. Much more credentials to his name. Tito took the fight without hesitation. Complete different style from what he was training with to fight against Vitor. Didn't care, fought, warrior.
Round 1 belongs to Tito Ortiz. Speaking of warriors, don't forget, the new book is out, Warriors of the Ultimate Fighting Championship.
We're going to go ahead and look at that right hand again, hopefully. Ortiz is coming in. He had him locked up right over the top. He had his hands too extended. Got caught with a nice, crisp right hand. He was able to go and avoid the barrage. Being hurt, using a veteran technique, he lured in Côté. Côté took advantage of it. That was a little, if he would have just sat back and picked the shot a little bit better, we might not have been taken down so easily.
Let's bring Eddie Bravo. You're scoring in the first round.
Well, although Côté did wobble to Ortiz early, I mean, Ortiz came back with a big takedown. He unleashed some ground and pound, had a big left elbow, some right elbows, and Côté really didn't do much off his back, so it's an easy round to score, 10-9 Ortiz.
So Eddie Bravo here, Octagon side with us, looking dapper as always. Our good friend and consultant Eddie Bravo. Second round underway. Remember, this is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. This is not a title fight. Although that's where Tito wants to be again, is in the title picture.
Nice body lock, Tito's forte. Oh, might have the back.
See what he does with it.
He ain't getting up.
Tito, persistent. And the one thing to keep in mind with Tito is, yeah, he's lost and everybody makes a lot of it, but he lost to the 2 best light heavyweights in the world, Randy Couture and Chuck Liddell.
Kills me when guys do that. You know, they go and they go, oh, this guy sucks. He lost. I'm like, yeah, the silver medalist in the Olympics sucks too. Guess what? He lost to one guy who was the world's best guy at that sport. He don't suck. Go ahead and step in there and tell Tito he sucks. Go talk to Chuck or any of these fighters after they're coming off of a loss, and to his face, I want you to tell him he sucks.
Great point. Now let's see if he can get back that motivation, though, because he will admit, though, that the movies and the disruptions to his focus of his fighting career definitely helped to lead to disappointment.
I mean, that's a very valuable point. I mean, I could contribute my loss also to the fact that I thought I was a superstar. You start getting kind of, you read into your own hype a little bit too much. Maybe Tito also felt that Tito was invincible.
You learn more from that loss than And now you wear a belt as our UFC heavyweight champion. Our partner tonight, Frank Mir, doing a great job. A hello to Joe Rogan on assignment this evening. He'll be with us on Super Bowl weekend once again here in the commentating booth. Don't forget Ultimate Knockouts 1 and 2, the combination DVD, plus UFC's 43 through 48 in stores now.
Nice.
UFC DVDs distributed by Studio Works Entertainment.
These are kind of elbows that Tito and Randy kind of made it to where are now the namesake of the UFC. When we get cross-eyed, everybody, even me as a black belt in jiu-jitsu, that little chipping elbow we all use. Fights against, like Wes Sims cut his face over, because they're vicious, bloody shots that come down on. They're frustrating, and he's just going to pin Côté down and keep beating him up.
Good left there, trying to break the spirit of the once ultra-confident 24-year-old French-Canadian from Quebec City, Patrick Côté, the Predator. Said his mixed martial arts idol is actually Vitor Belfort. It shows how young some of the new guys are when our present-day fighters are their idols.
Well, Vitor's been around for a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Vitor
think I idolized him.
Yeah, absolutely. At 19 years old, Vitor was in the army.
Work your way out. Let's go.
I really think that maybe Tito, he's a little one-dimensional at times. He just wants to pound his opponent. I know he wants to punish this kid, but I'm seeing a lot of submission ability there, that a lot of openings that maybe he can go for, that he should, I think, take advantage of it. I mean, hey, I think a winning by submission is a great thing. You know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that definitely is your form of the knockout. I wonder, though, too, and here's a situation. He could be very impressive with the submission finish, but is it entering into Tito's mind, punish, 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 show that I'm
Very
back?
much so. He wants to hurt him. But you know what? Bottom line is, with a fighter instinct, he can have any animosity, any kind of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Bottom line is, you want to win.
Yeah.
And however you're going to win, you're going to make sure you win. That has to be your first thought. When that becomes a second thought, you're in a lot of trouble.
Now, Tito certainly dominating here in round 2. And you said right at the beginning when they went down, he didn't get back up. And
No,
so far, those words are very true.
So far, I haven't seen, you know what?
There's a big
Côté has closed his guard. If he wanted to stand up, he'd have to work a lot more open guard. That's a bad sweep to go for. Face is stuck. Look at that. He's in trouble. That
Big
was not
shots
good.
there. Big John McCarthy just inches away from the action, keeping an eye on the safety of Patrick Côté.
You know, talking about cutting and not cutting, I got to give Patrick Côté a compliment. He's been hit with a lot of elbows, a lot of shots, and I don't think I've seen him. If there's any blood, it's not much. Good resistance, good resilience on his part.
1 minute remains in round 2.
You want to stay there? Get busy. Let's go. Here we go.
Côté
Come on.
moving from the undercard to the main event. Instead of Marvin Eastman, he took this chance to become an instant superstar. He's going to have to shock the world if he makes it to the 3rd round and defeat Tito Ortiz to do so, though. Under the bright lights of the UFC, the TKO light heavyweight champion from Canada.
Come on, come on.
This round, Frank, has been all about Tito.
Definitely came in right out the back. Côté came too close. Tito got his bread and butter, his body lock, got the takedown. Côté needs to do something to get this fight on its feet. He's not going to win from the bottom.
He's going to get that chance beginning of the 3rd round.
And that's actually going to be a blessing for him.
Yep.
That's about the only opportunity I've seen that he's asked to go ahead and finish this fight is to do it from a stand-up position.
But you said that from the top of the night, that he's got a puncher's chance, but that's really the only chance you thought he had.
Correct. I didn't think much of seeing what a little bit I saw as far as jiu-jitsu. I didn't think his submitting to me like Ortiz.
If you don't feel comfortable, just come keep your hands up and shoot a nice, beautiful double leg, get a slam, and take him down to the corner, ground and pound. You're not using the forearm in the throat at all. You're not using it. Put the forearm in the throat, then you come up and lift him. If he holds on to you, slam him through and make him hit the head hit the mat.
Patrick,
you know this
round,
one, okay?
Last round.
Listen to me, you're beautiful, fine. He's tired, he's exhausted. How's he feel? Not strong at all, right? Not strong. So listen, throw some horsepower.
Here we're going to see some of the elbows by Ortiz again pushing off. Here comes down a shot, kind of boom, left hand. Again, this is what Ortiz does. These guys are ground and pound. He's very punishing. You have to have a great submission game from the bottom, or you're just in trouble.
Eddie Bravo, 2nd round scoring.
Well, we just saw a ground and pound clinic from Tito Ortiz. He pounded him from side control, from the half guard, from full guard. Some devastating elbows landed by Tito Ortiz. Another 10-9 round for Ortiz.
All right, thank you, Eddie Bravo. The only American to tap a Gracie, member of our broadcast team here tonight. Côté's got that smirk back on his face.
You heard Rico Rodriguez, a former heavyweight champion, and a member of Team Punishment, along with Tito Ortiz, say throw the flying knee here. See if he does.
I wouldn't do a flying knee right now. That's too of a dangerous move.
Why put yourself at risk?
Why put yourself at risk? This guy only has a right hand. I would be rotating. I would have said, hey, Ortiz, rotate away from his right hand. Get away from that. Look for the shot. Boom, boom. Ortiz did a good job defending, lifting up the elbows.
Tito points out, too, that 10, 12 punches in that flurry until he was finally knocked down and knocked out by his old buddy Chuck Liddell. Ducks under that right hand. And here's the chance for Patrick Côté. Try to keep it on the feet and swing away.
He's doing the right thing. Again, see how he's not overcommitting. He's throwing 1-2 shots, he's getting out. If Tito starts throwing back, he's letting Patrick back into this fight.
Tito going for the shoot. Good sprawl in the right hand by Côté. See Tito trying to cage him into it again, shaking those fingers, but Côté, he did not go with the temptation that time.
No, Côté's doing the right thing. If he could have been doing this from the beginning, this fight might have not been so much behind right now. Right now he's losing the rounds. He's lost the first 2 rounds. He has to do a knockout. But he's doing it the right way. He's throwing 2 or 3 shots, stepping out. This is exactly what a striker has to do against somebody who's good at grappling and wants to take him down.
Game 7, 2 outs. Gotta hit the home run. Côté seems very fresh, although he had Tito Ortiz in the 205+ pounds of muscle on top of him for the better part of the last 10 minutes. There it is.
He's going down.
Yep. And he can't get back up, can he?
No, he's not going to get back up unless Tito makes a mistake. That's what Tito does. And when you have a guy who's just looking for the takedown and you're looking for strikes, 9 out of 10 times the fight's going to the ground. It's just the nature of the business. Tito's in a really good position. He's inside of Côté's half guard, and Côté's back is up against the cage. I wouldn't be surprised maybe if Côté starts going for broke and maybe try to show us some submissions. I don't see much else that he's going to try to do to win this fight. He's going for a knee bar. Knee across the belly. Back to close guard. No, he might just be content cruising.
Côté is a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so the submission ability is there. But his reputation coming in was as the home run hitter. Former Canadian soldier.
I think we're going to see Tito turn it on a little bit here. He knows it's the last round. He has plenty of gas. I don't think he's going to be satisfied with the decision.
Mezger, Frank Shamrock, Randy Couture, Chuck Liddell. If those are your 4 losses, there's no shame in any of those 4 losses.
All world champions in themselves.
And when he lost to Guy Mezger, I mean, when you think about it for Tito, he was just a kid.
He was almost in the kind of same situation as this fight here. He came in, first fight against a seasoned veteran in Guy Mezger, who he fought out of Lions Den. That was a premier show for Ortiz.
And the men he's beaten, from Vanderlei Silva to Yuki Kondo to Evan Tanner, Elvis Sinisek, Vladimir Matyushenko, Ken Shamrock. Think a who's who of mixed martial arts. And Tito Ortiz displaying some ground and pound. He really would like to finish it decisively. Love to have this baby stopped and not have to go to the judges' scorecard. If we do,
almost a sweep.
It'll be the first decision rendered by the judges here tonight, and certainly we know what that decision would be.
Yeah, I can't see it being judged any other way than towards Ortiz's favor at this point.
How frustrating is this starting to be to Tito that he can't break this man's spirit? Is it frustrating at all?
It has to be a little frustrating, but then again, if he was frustrated, he really wanted blood, go for submission. Right. Do something a little bit more definitive, a little more devastating. He has submissions. He's choked out Yuki Kondo with the Cobra choke. He's finished guys in competitions like the Abu Dhabi. They are there. He just doesn't choose to use them. I think Tito gets on top of you and just sees red. Just want to punch after punch, which won him the fight tonight.
It's like we said before with Frank Trigg. It's like that, as Frank said, $10,000 bill. You don't know if it's real or not, but you got to try to pick it up anyway. It's too tempting. Too tempting. Tito going to get back into victory lane here tonight with a unanimous decision, undoubtedly. 24-year-old Patrick, the Predator Côté. 15 seconds remaining in the 3rd and final round of the evening.
here in Boardwalk Hall, coast of the Atlantic Ocean in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Tito once again is a winner. Yeah, not the finish he wanted. Takes the victory.
No, Ortiz
but he didn't want it with that.
His man's gonna go home on a decision. That's just, I know it's from a fighter. You don't want to feel that. Your guy, you know, in his mind, he can justify, well, you know, this, that. It's not a closeout. You're not knocking him out. You didn't choke him out. You didn't tap him out. Man taps on the mat. He's saying that, hey, you're beating me. There's nothing way to argue against that. It's, decisions are just not as satisfying.
Now it will be a unanimous decision. And for Tito in the Game 7 situation, though, he was able to do what he wanted to do, Frank. That was take his opponent down at will and then ground and pound.
No, it was definitely a good thing for Tito. He came back doing what he should be doing. You know, look here, you see he's going for strikes, changing levels, going for the body lock double. In round 2, the same thing. It just seemed now he really had his rhythm going. This is the Tito of old. In the guard, guy against the cage, pounding down with elbows.
Round 3, more of the same.
Pretty much the same fight.
Tito Ortiz all over Patrick Côté. Who's next? Well, I guess we will find out, won't we, Tito Ortiz? Tito back in victory lane, as I said this morning. Final thoughts on this fight, a clear-cut victory, I'm sure, in your mind, Eddie Bravo.
Absolutely. Early in the round, Côté did land some pretty decent combos. And they actually seemed to stun Ortiz, but as soon as Ortiz got the takedown, more the same, he poured it on, dropped the elbows, dropped some punches. Another 10-9 round for Ortiz, 30-27, Tito Ortiz.
Eddie Bravo, I want to say, for the first time in your scoring history, we have made it through an entire fight. Congratulations.
Thank God.
Let's get it inside to Bruce Buffer.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of action, we go to the judges' scorecards for a decision. Judge A. Bilardo scores the bout 30-27. Judge Jeff Mullen scores the bout 30-26. And Judge Cecil People scores the bout 30-26 for the winner by unanimous decision, the Huntington Beach Bad Boy, Tito Ortiz.
Tito Ortiz victorious here tonight inside the octagon. Here's Kerry Casey.
Hey, Tito. He's getting water. You needed a victory tonight. Do you feel satisfied with this win?
Not satisfied. I kind of felt like I let down the fans. They came in here and paid top dollar for some good tickets. You know what? I came in here and I gave what I wanted to do, fight, try to entertain all the fans. You know what? Just sometimes the bout doesn't want to go the way that you kind of figured it. Côté is a really tough kid. He came out with a bunch of heart. He came out here with nothing to lose.
Did you expect him to be that tough?
Yeah, he's a Canadian, man. All Canadians are tough, so I expected a really tough match from him. He had good position on his feet. Hit me with a good shot in the first round, and I took him down. I said, now it's my turn. But he did hit me with a good shot, and you know what? I show the recovery I have. I'm getting hit with a good shot, and it's kind of hard for guys to finish me.
You've talked about your injuries in the past. Are you 100%? Are you the old Tito Ortiz again?
I'm 100% now. I mean, I had a little back injury with a bulging disc in my between L4 and 5 in my back. It went down, and pretty much I was able to start wrestling again. My cardio is not even close to what I need it to be. I actually got kind of tired in the 3rd round. I usually don't get tired. That was the first time I've actually really been tired because I just pushed myself each and every round. McCarthy let us keep working as long as we kept working, so we wouldn't stand it up. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens in the future. I just can't wait to get back in here.
Congratulations, Tito.
Yeah, thank you very much. I just want to thank all my sponsors, Punishment Athletics, of course, A&G Custom Sounds, everybody that supports me through and throughout this, Keith Harriman. Wait, one thing. I want to thank all my wife, Kristen, my little boy, Jacob. Jacob, Daddy's coming home. Daddy's coming home.
Attaboy.
Thanks, Tito.
Well, for our submission king, the UFC heavyweight champion, we bring to you our submission of the night, brought to you by our good friends at Tap Out. TapOutInYourFace.com. Has to be returning of the belt to Matt Hughes, our UFC Tap Out of the night.
Definitely, because we're gained the opponent that knew submissions real well.
Second look.
Here again, since Pierre was going for the Kimura, Matt Hughes steps over the top and secures up an instant arm lock, lightning quick.
If you want information on the upcoming fight, you want to know when we are back on the air on FSN or on Spike TV, check out our website. It is UFC.tv. A return to the East Coast tonight and some serious knockouts. How about Travis Lutter with the right hand? Ivan Saliveri with the bigger four and a flippant celebration over Tony Franklin. Our executive producers, Lorenzo and Frank Fertitta, and our president, Dana White. Coordinating producer, Stephen Tornabene. Producer of our event, as always, Bruce Connell. And our director, Anthony Giordano. Once again, Al Connell. Saw some great fights. Evan Tanner was outstanding. The Triangle beats Robbie Lawler. This was a night for the submission lover. Frank Trigg. Referee stoppage, TKO, second round, beating Renato Barissimo. And a smile in celebration for Twinkle Toes. The youngster, the French-Canadian, Georges St. Pierre, taking on the former five-time welterweight champion, Matt Hughes. He has the belt once again. Matt Hughes is the king of the welterweight world. Rich Franklin wants to be a factor at 185. He is. He wins by armbar. And then the main event of the evening, Tito Ortiz, a unanimous decision winner over the Canadian, Patrick Côté. For all of us here at Zuffa in the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Mike Goldberg, enjoy New Year's Eve. We'll see you next year in Las Vegas. So long, everybody.